the team names at the top listed as FXO versus KillingSpree, but you know what? We'll just go with player names for now. If that's a problem, we can fix that in editing, right? Not a big deal. Let's get into this though, Baldy. Spawning up here in the top left corner of Ohana, it's going to be the currently victorious player playing for FXO North America. It is the Orange Protoss, desRow.
Indeed, indeed. And here's our opponent spawning as the Red Terran. Can he take out the one and only Protoss player? He is spawning as red. It is KillingSpree's AlexCMoi.
AlexCMoi.
Simwa?
Simwa.
Simwa. Now looking at the.
It's like kissy noise.
Yeah, and it's got like an X at the end, like kiss kiss. No, according to the team site. And we did just see the other Terran player in Zepish get taken out. They seem approximately the same skill level based on ladder rankings. But again, who knows what they are in this kind of environment. But like they were saying in chat, apparently desRow's worst matchup is a PVT. And we'll have to see what we have going on. We do have the standard barracks opening. No kind of proxy play or anything like that?
I don't know that I like that their Terran players are not going for this wall off. I mean, if you really want to cause panic to a Protoss player early on, you get the 2 supply depots, you get the barracks up, and don't let them see that you, in fact, don't have gas. I mean, if desRow gets in here and he sees that you went gas at 11, he's going to know either a drop or Banshees are coming. And if you're going to pull something off like that, obviously, our Terran player currently is not, but I mean, if you're going to pull something off like that, you want to have the wall off. And whether you're going for that or not, it's going to make desRow guess. And he can't get into your base until about the 5-minute mark, 8-minute mark, whenever observers are finally on the field.
Cute little bit of harass here. Something that is one of the unfortunate things of being Terran. Having to be subject to this kind of torture.
You know, it didn't used to be so bad. We were talking about this a little bit earlier today, where SCVs, way back when, used to have like 10 more health, and it wasn't such a pain to try to deal with that harass.
I forgot that they used to have 10 more health. Oh,
yeah,
man.
well, you know what? People like Bit by Bit ruined it for the rest of us, constantly pulling SCVs for those Marine all-ins. But, you know, it is what it is. StarCraft has come a long way, Baldy, and we actually have an engineering bay block. Whoa, tongue twister, guys. And this is this.
Yeah, interesting, because when you get the Zealot, normally this isn't able to get up. He's actually done it quite early. Well, you should be able to get most of it up.
Yeah, this wasn't a gateway fast expand. With the Zealot, as you said, it will take this down, but it's going to buy him time. And of course,
get about 80% of the way done, so nicely played.
Yeah, and AlexCMoi go for the command center on the low ground once more. Ohana's a little bit nicer than that last map we played on. Again, it was a map I think you and I were unfamiliar with. I don't know if the players were, but I really didn't like the way how tight it made it for his bunker in the natural, and I don't know. Ohana lends itself to a lot of all-ins for Terran. I don't know that that's what AlexCMoi is going to do since he's going for the command center. But you can do some 2-base pretty heavy all-ins with siege tanks and other ridiculous things. But AlexCMoi getting 3 barracks up, I guess he's not going to be doing that. So never mind me, Baldy.
That's okay. It's all good. One thing to note is that Moi was able to re-scout up into the natural after his engineering bay was cancelled, just to confirm that the Nexus was on the way. I mean, when you do the engineering bay block, you do subject yourself to some one-base play if they're angry people. But we do have the expansion coming on for desRow, so it won't be anything too crazy too early. And he will be forced back here as well at the front.
I like the positioning of this bunker too. It's a little bit better than putting it right at the very edge. Save some poke for later on, and it's going to keep everything out of the base for a while.
Yeah, it's a good point actually, because if the Protoss does go all the way up the ramp, then even if they retreat as soon as they see the Marines coming out the bunker, there's still going to be a little bit of time for the Marines to attack. So a nice little thing there. It does mean if he's trying to wall off the natural, it's going to be a little bit longer, but again, it's probably not.
I think he's going to go for Blink again, Balder. We got that Twilight Council coming out very quick with the double gas. And I mean, Ohana, you can put some pylons around here, you do some high ground warp and shenanigans, but more importantly, Blink is another very viable option. And as we saw, and we've seen in the past, desRow likes his Blink.
He does indeed. It'd be interesting to see if how much he commits to this, if he is going for attack. We see the Robo coming through, so we'll see an Observer, maybe 1 or 2 of them.
Oh wow, I was 100% wrong, Baldy.
Yeah.
Dark
I was gonna say,
freaking Shrine!
Do you reckon from this Robo now we're going to see a War Prism and then just go for a DT drop?
I would really like to see that. Alternatively, we could also just see an Observer go for high ground warp in with Dark Templar. We'll have to see. Now the thing is,
whoa.
yeah, well, I'm just still recovering from the fact that it's going to be a DT Shrine. You don't see a lot of players go TT Shrine first. I mean, Day 9 kind of made the popular saying, win behind, go Dark Shrine, and the reality of it is, when you go for it first, you're gambling. It's not really coin flippy per se, but you're relying on your opponent to not have turrets up and basically be using all of his energy on mules.
Yeah. I did actually lose a TVP to this kind of opening yesterday, and I was just, not yesterday, a couple of days ago, I was just kind of annoyed. But ever since then, I've just been like, alright, I just need to scout more aggressively. But we'll see what kind of ideas we have. We do have the Warp Prism on the way, so it will be desRow going for some kind of aggression with Warp Prism. Will he warp in his DTs first? And then
Baldy, there's no engineering base yet.
Yeah.
And we see our Terran player constantly dropping mules, which would normally be a good thing if there wasn't a Dark Shrine on the map.
Yeah, he actually... Alex hasn't been able to scout since he went back into the natural, so he has no idea about anything, not even opting to use a scan just yet. So it'll be interesting to see if he can see it anytime soon. There we go. We do see the Warp Prism, 3 DTs being warped in, and he will now make his movement towards the base. He will actually miss this factory as well.
Baldy,
So
this is...
like I said, the engineering bay on the way, but that's not going to be up in time.
This is not looking good. I think... Yeah, I mean, AlexCMoi is going to be in a lot of trouble here. I mean, a lot of trouble. He does almost have energy for scans on his orbitals. Just don't drop mules. Dear Terran player, hear my thoughts. Don't drop mules.
We go. Is that
his
actually
army.
60 energy here?
And his army's
Will
out
we
of the
see
base,
it?
Baldy. This is
Actually,
not
I
looking
don't think,
good.
yeah, he's not going to drop. He's just going to scan. He has a scan available. He'll have 2 scans. He has to make these 2 scans work, though.
Oh no, Baldy. Okay, the army is coming back home. He's getting some turrets up in the natural. Right now, he's not trying to... I mean, there's kind of rule with DTs.
Justin. Sorry, the combat shield literally finished.
Just
upgrading
finished,
about
yeah.
1 second.
Now, ooh, don't like that stim. I don't like that stim. But, alright, he's going to try and do what he can. But anyways, I was going to say, there's a bit of a rule where you don't want to lose more than 1 DT per scan. If you can cause your opponent to keep wasting scans, you're actually draining them of minerals, effectively. And, ooh, desRow's Warp Prism is taken out, so that's going to be the end of this. Now, AlexCMoi has to clean this up. Once he cleans this up, he'll be good to go. But unfortunately, no Raven, very limited missile turrets.
Yeah, we do have
no.
1 missile turret in the main, so this DT will eventually get taken down, as we can see here.
But don't use workers to do it. This is like the least effective way to deal with the
We do see
man.
14 workers killed so far, so it's 59 to 37 in the favor of desRow. So this has been... Well, I guess with I think it was actually those last little hits, like you're saying.
I think that's very cost effective for desRow, and I say this because he got a lot of the tech labs. He didn't cancel any of the tech, but look at this. We got the tech labs rebuilding, the reactors rebuilding. This means no medevac production, no extra marauders or marines for the time being, and he forced AlexCMoi to pull off mining for a long, long time, on top of killing 14 workers.
Yeah, another thing as well is a really nice follow-up to this, which kind of lends itself, is the fact that he's going Charge Archon. We do have Charge already completed from the Twilight Council, and now the DTs will be starting to morph into Archon. So, like you're saying, you know, those Tech Lab add-ons, although none of the upgrades were cancelled, it did halt his production for a little bit. His mules were down, so that meant like any kind of production was down. They're about equal on kind of army
But I mean,
size
there's
level.
Archons, Baldy, and without Ghosts, it's not fun dealing with Archons.
Yeah, although desRow has less of an army size, he still has quite a beefy army to deal with this.
Guardian Shield going up too. I like that he's building a pylon. Oh, I love this. Not pylon, sorry, but a missile turret on the frontal position. He doesn't want to get caught off guard by more DTs. And the first Archon goes down almost immediately, and some beautiful stutter step coming out of AlexCMoi here. desRow, though, with these Archons still standing.
He only has 1 Archon, and there we go, 1 more left. These actually have quite a bit of health left on them. The Marauders are the key buff units here, but again, now the DT is going to just rip through this.
And those charge lots are just doing so much to the Marauders. Now, there are no more Archons. It's actually looking really good for our Terran player, but there's so many Zealots here, Baldy.
Every stim, like, there's not really much energy left on these Medivacs either. And we do see a DT coming through once again, so it looks like our Terran player will be forced to retreat, at least temporarily. But he did take out a few Archons, like you're saying, soften things up. But again, look at this worker supply. It's actually 69 now to 48. So even with mules, there is no third base established yet. So
yeah, AlexCMoi tried to get one down, but unfortunately there was a Dark Templar here waiting, and he killed the SCV and the Command Center. Don't believe there was a cancel. So we do have the Command Center, in fact, on the natural. And I mean, right now our Terran player is behind a base, and when you're playing Protoss, you do not want to be behind a base.
Yeah. a really good point, especially those gases. We see the 5th and 6th gases now being
Oh, what
established.
the heck? We have a medevac being donated, so we
Yeah.
have third base. I guess a bit
You
of
know
a
what?
misrally.
Perhaps. Let's have a look at where the rally is. Nope. Maybe it was Rich Rally. Maybe he just forgot to bring one home. But either way, with that 5th and 6th gas, it's really going to help desRow in getting that kind of those higher tiered units. We do see the second robo on the way, as well as actually he's getting 3 robos.
Well, I think we've got zealots worshipping the factory right now, Bali. Look at this. They're following it around like.
Right. I just want to.
Oh.
We have 2 robos being built with one already established. So
No, that's really nice. Yeah, off 3 base, he's going to have a lot of gas. This is not going to be an effective way to spend it, but when you're pumping 3 Colossus or 3 Immortals at a time, your Terran player is going to be in a lot of trouble, especially without Ghost, and we still don't have a Ghost Academy, Baldy.
Yeah, wow. I like this as well because he's going for the Robo Bay after showing Charge or Archon, so if he can get away with that and do a nice tech switch, this is going to be interesting, this drop coming up the left-hand side.
I really fear that this is going to be 2 games in a row that our Terran players Oh, that Blake.
Yeah,
oh, it's going to get both medevacs. It's going to get both of them, Baldy. That is
that's
a huge loss. But anyways, as you say, I really fear that both players are going to fall susceptible to desRow just because they don't have Ghost Tech. I mean, game 1 we saw how that went, and game 2 right now, the Immortals coming out, the Archons, or sorry, the Colossus coming out, without Ghosts, I don't see a good way for him to break this army. It's not the Archons you need the EMPs for, but instead the Zealots and the Immortals.
And we do see AlexCMoi actually continuing with the medevac production. He's up to a total of... Well, he's actually only got 2 now after losing 2 of them.
What did
now,
you just call him?
Yeah, like he actually doesn't know that there's Colossi out on the field right now. And
Did you call him AlexCMoi?
Simoi.
Okay, no, never mind. That makes sense, I guess. I was like, what have we got? Leonard Nimoy? We got Captain Spock here playing for the Terror.
Yeah, basically.
But oh man, yeah. So desRow, I mean, Baldy, the further this gets, the harder it's going to be for AlexCMoi to break this. I don't know. I'm not feeling too good for our Terran player right now. His drops are getting shut down. desRow's got cannons up at the 3rd. He's got Dark Templar, pylons, and observers scattered all over the map. In fact, looking at his vision, he might as well have creep spread for all this. He sees everything.
Yeah, actually, he does have a ridiculous... And he's got, like, multiple pylons out on the map, so even if there was any chance of Alex moving across the map, a counterattack is just... And a 4th base being established too, like, desRow is just always a step ahead.
Alright, well, speaking of being a step ahead, he's about to step into the Terran's base. Oh, he's just got so much here!
That's a huge stim, the fact that he actually didn't do anything with it.
Yeah, I mean, like, typically what you're going to want to do as a Terran player is stim a small contingency of units to start poking with, try and catch something like a Templar, or, I don't know, something vulnerable, but that's not going to be the case. These Vikings also, they're so valuable right now, they cannot be out of position like that. I mean, these Colossus are so scary for the Bio Army, and with 3 armor, these Marines with only 1 upgrade, Baldy, are not even going to scratch them. Guardian Shield 2, pea shooters. We have a Terran armed with pea shooters right now.
Especially, I mean, he hasn't started 2-2 just because he's been investing. I'm not sure. Like, he's starting 2-2 just now, but we're at 90 minutes into the game, and like you said, we already have 3-1-1 for our Protoss player. So,
I mean, look at that. He can't even kill a stalker with a volley. That's what the 3 armor comes into play. As soon as Extended Thermal Lance finishes, Baldy, I think desRow's just going to move in here. And AlexCMoi just doesn't have the tech, I feel. I mean, 2-2's just starting, and that's great, but unless it finishes before this engage, unless desRow decides to just kind of posture here for a long time, this is not going to look too good for our Terran player.
yeah, I actually think, looking at this, desRow is actually going to have his level 2 weapons attack and also his level 2 shields by the time 2-2 for our Terran play hits. So he's going to, that upgrade from the 2-2 is going to be more or less mitigated. We have 3 more, we have Storm on the way.
Ooh, here we go.
There's a lot of Vikings, so if he can get a nice engagement, but again, as we've seen, desRow is just so good with his blink on his Stalkers.
Yeah, I mean, okay, the Viking numbers here, there's no question about it, but it comes down to positioning more than anything else. If these Vikings can hit the Colossus without getting blinked underneath, I mean, he's going to kill the Colossus, no problem. But oh no, Baldy, look at this. Dark Templar sneaking right past. This base is going to be in a lot of trouble. Meanwhile, the engage comes down. Now these... Oh, the Vikings actually get some nice volleys off on the Colossus. That 3 armor, it's not easy to crack.
Yeah, he's actually doing quite well here. The Colossi are falling relatively quickly. The Zealots still, though, have so much tanking ability with that 3 armor. The final Colossi does go down,
But
And
there's
with
still
that, this
Immortals
Stim
and
Bio seemed a lot
Zealots.
more effective. As we all know, Stim Bio, it just rips through Gateway.
Yeah, we got the Vikings landing, even trying to throw into the fray. I mean, AlexCMoi getting a little bit desperate, but he has evened out the supply quite a bit. Some nice stutter step here, cutting these Zealots around. But I mean, look at the Immortals to follow this up. This is not looking good for our Terran player. His production is not where it needs to be.
Yeah, I
Oh,
mean, even though
Baldy.
that fight went definitely in the favor of our Terran player and Alex in terms of efficiency, the fact is that with those 4 base established and so many gateways on the field, the ability of Protoss to remax, or not necessarily remax, but rebuild. Look at this, like we've got so many Zealots being walked in, and he can
And we've
just...
still got 2 Dark Templar hiding right next to the middle line of this third base.
Yeah. I mean, I must commend Alex on that engagement. It seems like it would definitely went a lot better than it could have.
Yeah, no, I agree, but the biggest criticism was landing the Vikings. He really should have saved those, because with 3 Robo, desRow, as we can see, is reproducing 3 Colossus at a time. And unless he's got 6 Vikings coming out, which is not the case, he's got no way to really deal with them. And as third base, this third base is so desperately important right now, and he's going to lose his Storm's actually on most of the Bio Army. Oh, Baldy. This is not looking good.
Yeah.
I really hate being that negative guy, but
I just did a gateway count. There's 14 gateways on the field, so even at like we have 1400 minerals, so he can just even warp in a whole lot more. We do see the
14
SCVs.
Zealots at a time is just gonna be too much.
Yeah, especially when these Colossi come in. We see the 3 Colossi hit squad about to come in and rain terror all over this Terran army.
Speaking of raining terror, I hear your puppy in the back.
Oh shit! Sorry.
Woof, woof, woof. Well, speaking of, actually, I'm going to make a
my
bad
dog
pun.
was just like cheering for desRow there.
Well, teach your dog to cheer for Terrans, man. Screw Protoss.